Good afternoon once again. I'm sorry. I'm going to share my screen once more, and I'm going to show you 7 places we have chosen to be presented as a part of the project on the web page, in the map, and so on. These are actually, I'm not going to explain the history of the places and the importance of the places. You can, by the way, you can read it on the web page. I will try to concentrate more on the story of the preservation. It's about people and it's about institutions, and it's also about the people who are keen to visit these places. So once more, let me start from the beginning. I've been talking about the first open air museums in the Czech Republic, and I have already mentioned Příbram. Příbram is somewhere here, a small town which is actually during the history merged with the mines, deep ore, and after that coal mines. So you can't really discern where the little town ends and the mining area begins. I would like to present it as a pioneering example, and at the same time, this is actually a museum of a museum. This is an exposition which is more than 50 years old, and it clearly shows, you know, the ideas and the knowledge of the early 70s of the 20th century. So it's fascinating. It's really worth visiting, and from my point of view, it's actually it grows in a time into a museum of a museum. This is an example of place which was brought to existence from above. The first impulse came from the people inside the mining company, and they got together with the people from the National Technical Museum, and there was an agreement that after the mining is planned to cease, after that the mining company is handing the buildings to the Technical Museum, which happened, and that's a rare situation, which is, I'm afraid, not going to happen anymore. A few more pictures. And there we go. Old sewage treatment plant in Prague. This is where the Prague is, and the building itself, or the part above the ground. These days, this is has been put on the list or tentative list of heritages which are to be claimed as UNESCO heritages. But at the beginning, there was no support from above. This sewage treatment plant ceased its operation in the 60s, and it was without use till the end of the 80s. And in the 80s, a group of people. At the time, it was a part of a military organization for spending free time just for Savazarm. This group of people themselves called the Steam Club, and the Steam Club uh, get somehow, I didn't know how because I don't know anybody from that period. They got into this building, which was at the time and still is the municipal property, and they have found these horizontal steam engines, uh, and even at the end of the 80s, they brought into operation one of them, and at the beginning of the 90s, the second one. So these people were basically not searching for a museum. They were searching for a place where they can work, where they can bastel, where they can repair steam engines. That was the main reason to get there, and they've done it. They have repaired the engines, and they have started to repair all the building, which is, as you can understand it, as a sewage treatment plant. It's not just the magnificent building above the ground, but also underground, like this one. Uh, these days, it's still a museum. It still belongs to the Prague municipality, and since the last year, there has been a strange or a small change in the leadership of this. They've got it a municipal property management company runs it, and it opens it to the public for quite a large and successful cultural event. So not only a museum, but a favorite event space. I like this picture from the concert the most. Um, this sounds like something that comes from above. The National Museum of Brewing in Kostelec nad Černými Lesy, just somewhere here near Prague. This is how it looks today, but at the beginning, there were these two guys, uh, brewing or food industry engineers, who have decided in 2002 to board a derelict building of a brewery in Kostelec from a public auction. And this is the official photo, but I would like to introduce them more like this. This is the way how the museum itself was created. Uh, Wherever in the Czech Republic and brewery is being demolished, and this happens all the time, of course. Uh, these two guys are coming, and they are, of course, on a perfectly legal way, but they are saving the machinery, the brewing equipment, the tools, all the things. You can see the co-founder with this pneumatic hammer. They are trying to get a fermentation tank from a demolished brewery, or things like this. Uh, so they are coming to these places, and they are collecting all the possible equipment and machinery. And even these nice two cast iron columns on a cooling part of the brewery were actually from just another brewery saved. The part of the brewery, because this brewery was actually originally a classicist building from the beginning of the 18th century, and as a part of this, there was also this horse-powered mill in the courtyard of the brewery, which is really a unique building in the Central Europe, as far as I know, with this amazing, woodwork. Uh, but during those last 20 years, more and more machinery were coming, and at the end, even the very core of the brewery, the brewing house, has been brought into operation. So these people were not trying to build just a museum. They are not just collecting things. They wanted an operational museum. They want to brew their own beer. And so that's happening. A part of it, of course, is a pub. And in a pub, you can get a nice beer, which was brewed in the very museum with the technology from the 20s of the 20th century. So this is actually a replica of a typical industrial brewery of the beginning of the 20th century in operation. Waste spinning mill in Bílý Potok. Textile mills are usually large. This is quite a small one, actually, but the story is almost the same as with the sewage treatment plant. Bílý Potok is in the north of the Bohemia, in a very nice location in Jizera Mountains. And now that's the building. And it was actually a family, a son and a father, who run a firm for repairing engines. At this time, there were no steam engines, but gasoline or crude oil engines. And they got some workshop in Liberec, and they needed something larger. And again, in an auction in 2002, they have bought this building of a former textile mills in order to work there, not in order to make a museum, but they really just needed a place for their restoration work. But as the times was passing, they kind of fall in love with the buildings. They have opened it for public, and they are actually, you can see that the building is almost the same as it was 100 years ago or even more. It's, by the way, it's an interesting piece of industrial art at this moment. The more important is that it's open for public. It house a pretty nice collections of machines from the local factories, from motors to you can see here the spinning machine, and it still works as a workshop for the business. So really a sustainable model of operation, which, by the way, was in just at the end of the last year substantially threatened. This is one of the public events. This little brook, or it's not even a river, but there were several floods in the autumn, probably you may know, and this brook during the flood wore away the bank under the factory. So there is a really expensive restoration restoration work going on. You need to fix the bank under the very building. Another brewery, almost the same story, but with different actors and different aims. Again, this is the place where Lukáš is. That's the small village Lukáš. There was a small but quite modern for its time industrial brewery with malt house. And during that time, this is about the time which it was actually abandoned. These are the 60s or probably 70s. And this is how it looked, well, 15 years ago. A real ruin. But with plenty of details nicely preserved. This building was bought by two friends who were and still are architects. They were inspired in Kostelec, of course. They loved the industrial heritage as it was, and they liked beer. And they have designed not a museum, but a conversion, a kind of a conversion and adaptive reuse of this building. There is still a brewery, but a kind of, the micro brewery, the small one, but they brew their own beer too. There is, of course, a pub for the visitors. There is an exhibition space. Some parts of the building are still as they were. Some parts are really, in a decent way renovating, like this third case. That is how it looked 10 years ago. And you can actually pay for a night in a fermentation tank. So it's also a hotel or a pension. So again, a kind of a sustainable business model and a nice example of adaptive reuse designed by two architects which are at the moment, which we were at the moment the co-owners of the building. So they design it for themselves. Yet another adaptive reuse, yet another conversion. It's called a municipal abattoir in Ostrava. It's actually not really an abattoir, but a cold store of an abattoir. Basically, a huge fridge for meat. This is from picture from the last year, after the conversion to a municipal gallery. As you can see from the pictures, it's let's say more artistic, more architecture was brought into it. The architect Konečný is famous with this, rotating parts of buildings which serve as doors. So they've basically done a lot of new holes in the structure to accommodate the gallery. And it's a collage, a mixture of old and new in a rather creative manner. As you can see from this picture. This is the interior as it is now. This is how it was some 10 years ago. What is interesting about this architecture is that the starting point of this imagination was not the building as it was, but a ruin. It was the state that that it works with the image of a ruin. There was that this ruin was there for more than 40 years, so everybody living now knows it as a ruin. funny thing is that the building originally looked quite different. It was a, the end of the century, cheerful, decorated design of a basically a fridge. Uh, so how this is how it really looks. And by the way, the real abattoir is the building to the right on the picture. It looked more like this one. It was a large abattoir from the 20s, designed by a famous Walter Friese, the German designer of abattoirs. This building is gone. That's the real abattoir has been demolished, and what is preserved is this fridge, remodeled as a architectural game with an ruin. Uh, Last example, uh, and this is again something new. That's the new way how to deal with this. But the place itself is placed in Semily, so again the north of Bohemia, and it used to look like this. You can see this. This is a complete textile mill, and it's huge. That's a real, if not a flagship, actually a giant. Uh, uh, this actually group of mills, but designed in the unique, unified manner from the second half of 19th century by a Viennese architect, by the way, but that's again not so important. Uh, uh, there were rests of operational parts till 2005 2007. Uh, it was a part of a huge textile company which ceased the operation at the beginning of the century, and what has been left are the water electricity plants, which were actually the part of the factories. But these are now the only thing that makes money. But the money are enough to decide not to sell the building. So it's a rest of a production firm which is now producing a mere electricity from two hydro plants, and they have decided that they can wait. They are not going to sell it, but they can wait, and they can piecemeal, slowly think about the new use of these buildings. This is how it looked at the end of the production, and this is how it looks now. It's the very same place, and as you can see, some part of these are really being used as the artistic ateliers. Most of them are still unused and almost empty. Uh, but the public is brought inside. You can go there for a cultural event, for instance. This is the facade above the river. This the former very center of the factory, the engine house, uh, is used as a concert hall or a cultural space. This is the place where the main engine was. You can notice the decorated ceiling. That's the very same place. And another part is being remodeled these days. That was the second engine house with the boiler house in front of it. This is how it looked. And uh, a part of it is a quite a large weaving shed, which is really a rare example because these weaving sheds are almost all gone in the Czech Republic. So that's a rare building these days, although it was used to be quite a common type of building. So this is a new situation after the privatization and all these turbulences of the 90s and the beginning of the century. These people who were able to privatize such a huge factory knows that the value of these buildings and the real price, the market price of the building is still rising. So they need not to sell it. They are not thinking about demolishing it, and they've got the time to think about the possible new ways how to use it. So we are looking forward for the next years. That's that's probably that's all, folks. Thank you very much.